Samantala, nagsimula na rin ang forum ni Supreme Court Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno kasama ang mga miyembro ng media sa Intramuros, Maynila. Panoorin po natin ito.
Part of the lawyers and the parties, much of the work can also be done through the comfort of the home or home office or the traditional office, because we are trying to usher in a period of e-filing. In the Supreme Court, you already have the start of a stage where you can already file pleadings through electronic means. And if we increase the use of that, ensuring only that those litigants who may not have access to electronic means are not unduly deprived of a fair way of also having their plaints heard in court. As long as we can make such programs, such platforms accessible to enough number of people, we will continue to push the boundary of what can be done. The importance of this is not simply on the matter of convenience of the lawyer or the litigant, who does not have to go to physically trudge all the way to Padre Faura to have his pleading filed in the Supreme Court, or to Orosa in the Court of Appeals, or to whichever trial court that the pleading should be filed with. That is not the only point. The point also is we are trying to minimize the carbon footprint that the judicial processes actually impact on the planet. If we can have less traffic being generated because of these court processes, so much the better for us. We have a commitment to serve the public in every way we can. And this commitment includes being sensitive to the problem of traffic congestion, to the problem of environmental degradation, to the cost of time and money and opportunities lost, simply because the processes are not made more efficient. Now, we recognize that the world is changing so fast, and the simple back and forth shuttling physically taking place, when technology can do the trick for us, that will be sought to be eliminated. That you can already see that the electronic filing system that we have been generating is already starting to reduce the amount of paper that is being filed in the court. But it also means that because we recognize our responsibility to the nation to be responsible users of the natural resources of the nation and not to contribute to the problem, we are also going to have an infrastructure development project that recognizes the effect of climate change. So disaster resilience is important in our infrastructure development programs. We know what happened to our courthouses in Tacloban, where all our court records were inundated. Some were reduced to the consistency of paper mache. So you can just imagine that the reconstitution of all those records are really disastrous to the cause of justice. So what we have to do is to find a way of storing our documents so that they are not lost to the ravages of disasters such as floods, earthquake, and even to a certain extent fire. So technology can help in that regard. We must also start thinking about locating courthouses where they are not most prone to the fact that sea levels are rising, and our major cities, together with our most important courthouses, are located in coastal cities. That is a problem that we have to grapple with, because we cannot afford the inability to rehabilitate provision of justice to areas that have been struck by disaster. We must be able to show that the courts can bounce back within a reasonable period of time. How to create a plan that will do that is a challenge that we all face. And I think that most LGU planners, most infra planners are also grappling with that same problem. But we are already sensitive to that fact. All in all, also, I am thinking that while you are seeing all of these movements happening, and may I also share with you more details of this in a later part, let me just recap this, that it cannot succeed. All of these efforts that I've already been talking about cannot succeed unless we are able to set apart a generation of judges, men and women who are committed to living lives of uprightness and excellence. And we are already thinking very seriously on how to capture that quality at the earliest stage possible so that we can set them apart. We can breed them to be immune to societal and political pressures. We are trying to depoliticize the system of appointments and selection and training and assignments as much as possible. Because the idea is that it is up to the judiciary that who must to establish the gold standard for public service. And you cannot have a gold standard upheld unless you first start with the men and the women who will populate the ranks of the judiciary. Now, may I go to what is happening right now on the ground? You know, we met last year when the e-court system was launched in Quezon City. And I would like to tell you that there are now 61 pilot e-courts. From the moment we met in June last year in Quezon City, there are now 61 fully operational pilot e-courts. And additional trial courts are being rolled out right now, also to absorb the kind of electronics system that we have instituted in Quezon City. And these are 129. This is 129, and we hope to finish the program in 2014. In 2015, we hope to be able to roll out a total of 83 e-courts also in Cebu, Davao, and Iloilo. So that by the end of 2015, you will have a total of 273 e-courts who are responsible for about 25% of the total caseload nationwide. If we can have the resources from the national government, we can add to these figures. The problem is that the executive department...
At yan po ang bahagi ng forum ni Supreme Court Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno kasama ang mga miyembro ng media sa Intramuros, Manila. Babalikan po namin yan maya-maya lamang. Tutok lang dito sa GMA News TV para oras-oras alam mo. Ako po si Chino Gaston. Magandang hapon.